Okay. All right.
Yeah, mine just says refresh. Yeah, now I got it.
I'll say refresh again. We're going to first do the resume and then we'll work on the cover letter. Okay. Vet Science. Google Classroom page. Okay, so first and foremost, the most annoying part of resume writing is formatting, okay? I feel like the minute you start hitting backspace and changing things, all the formatting changes. My rule of thumb is on this template, when you're ready to type, you're going to want to highlight and type, okay? So right now we're going to try together first with just your name. You're literally going to highlight where it says first, last name, and then type your first and last name. If you have a very large name, we can then decrease the font, okay? But highlight and type. The minute we start backspacing, not Microsoft, but Google wants to change all the formatting. And it gets really frustrating. Don't frustrate yourself. Highlight and type, okay? So, yes.
Can you help me decrease it?
Absolutely. So let me show everyone. So if you have a very large name, after you've highlighted and typed, you're going to come up here and you can change the font size, okay? That you can go ahead and change because we want your name to be in one line. We don't want it to go over, okay? One line. Okay? Then the next thing we're going to do is put your personal information, okay? So the street address that you currently live, the city, the state you can abbreviate, so OH, and then your zip code, okay? For phone number, you can put your personal cell phone number so that way they can be in contact with you. For your email address, I would just use your school email unless you have a separate Gmail that you would like to use. However, please make sure whatever email you use, it's professional, okay? We don't want some nickname or odd phrasing. The most professional emails typically contain some version of your name. Like my email is michellekarn@scctc.org. I have a separate Gmail account, personal one, and it's mkarn. So I keep it some form of my name, okay? Can anyone tell me how much time, the average amount of time an employer spends looking at a resume? 5 to 7 seconds. In 5 to 7 seconds, they are making a decision about your future. 5 to 7 seconds. So you want a resume that's error-free, very clean and neat, and something that the eyes can simply scan up and down real quick. For your position currently, you should never go over one page, okay? You are at entry level. Even most professionals stick to one page unless they've been in the business 15 plus years, okay? So we want one page that an employer can look at, scan, make some quick decisions about whether or not they're going to call you and set up an interview, okay? The resume is also talking points for them. So if they see you have, particular skills, then you've just had a short phrase about it, they can say, oh, I see here that you have experience with customer service. Can you tell me about that? Okay. So this is a guide for them to get to know you and your work experience as well. But the interview is where, and our cover letter, which I'll talk about in a moment, is where we can expand upon those thoughts. Okay. So the resume is short and sweet. We don't want something with too much information. Okay. Any questions about your name and your personal info up there? Awesome. Okay, so underneath your first and last name, you're going to have an objective. This is a short phrase basically stating why you're handing this resume to the person. Are you trying to get a position? And what is that specific position? Is this for a job shadowing experience? For what company? You can tailor it. I have an example right here, and I just kept it very generic for now, and then I'll tailor it when I'm ready to print it and use it for a specific company. So my generic statement for right now is to obtain a position in the field of veterinary science. If you all want to put that phrase just until you know exactly where you'd like to job shadow or get a job, feel free to put that. Highlight and type. Okay, so I'm going to briefly scan and go over each section, and then I'll talk more specifically. What we're going to have is a few different sections here. Certifications and trainings you've received, specifically in your vet science program, and that obviously is going to change over the 2 years that you're here. Experience, this is work experience that you currently have. Any awards that you may have earned. If you're doing awards, the rule of thumb is nothing prior to your freshman year of high school. So grades 9 through 12. I'm sorry if you got 17 awards in 8th grade. For some reason, the working world doesn't care. We want 9th through 12th grade, and then obviously after you're out of high school, you can include more, okay? If you do not have awards, but you want something else there, you can also replace that section with extracurricular activities if you're looking for something else beyond awards. If you have neither, you can just delete that section, okay? So we have work experience. Below work experience, you're going to have education. Education, you are going to put both your homeschool and CTC. Why? Because we do not give you a diploma, and it's so important to show your employer that, yes, I am receiving a diploma and which school you're receiving it from. And then CTC, obviously the program of focus and what you're kind of gaining from there. Below that, you have your references. You can have, I would say 3 is a good common number of references. Do not put your mom or your best friend or your grandma. We want someone that knows you in a professional setting, okay? Whether it's a teacher, a counselor, a coach, maybe an employer or a coworker, but we don't want grandma in here because she's going to be a bit biased and just tell the employer how fabulous and cute you are. Okay, so we need someone that can talk about your work ethic, your character, your habits in the workplace, maybe even how you interact with other people. Okay, in the event that maybe you have tons of information above and it starts pushing your references down, well, you can do one of 2 things. You can create a separate reference page, or you could put references available upon request, and they could just request, hey, do you have 3 or 4 references we could call, and then you could give them that reference page if you wanted to. Okay, but let's go back up. We're going to backtrack now. Just wanted to give you an overview.
Quick question.
Yes.
Only give phone numbers, not emails for your references?
Yeah, typically they want to talk to someone on the phone. Okay, I have probably received, I don't know, hundreds of reference calls over the years, and no one's ever emailed me. So in the sake of saving space on your resume, I would just put telephone numbers. Now, if you have a lot of extra space, go ahead and add it then. Okay, good question. All right, so what you're going to do under experience, if you have a job and if you've had more than one job, you're going to list the most current job on top and work chronologically backwards, okay? So if you are currently, say I'm at Walmart, okay, I'm a Walmart cashier, I'm going to put the name of the company in which I work, the city where that company resides, and then what is my current position in that job, okay? Now I have had students that say, oh, I work at Walmart, but I'm a cashier, and sometimes I stock, and sometimes I do this. So I said, well, let's just make it a blanket term and put customer service, because all the things you're doing is customer service in some realm. Then you're going to put the month and year in which you started. If you're still working there, it's okay to give your resume to places and you're still working somewhere. You're going to put to present. Actually, that looks very, very good, because it's telling your employer, I don't just quit a job and then wait around and try to go find another job. I'm actively working, seeking another place of employment, usually because you want higher pay or you have a raise in position or something to that effect, okay? So if I'm currently still working there, I'm going to put present. Then we are going to have short phrases, okay? Short phrases that tell our employer some things we were in charge of or our employer expected us to do in that position, okay? I will tell you, everything in this section is capitalized except for non-essential words like and, with, the, for, okay? You also, rule of thumb, keep it all in past tense. I don't know who decided this. Come on, the inventor of resumes, I don't know. But they say keep it in past tense. So typically you start with some sort of verb and then you end your phrase, but it's all in past tense, okay? And actually, once I get you working, I'll print off a list for you of these power verbs, they call them, to use for resumes, okay? And try to think of things that would make you seem appealing, things in your job that might work for other places of employment too. Think outside the box, all right? So right now, why don't we work on just experience? Again, make sure you highlight and type. And I'm going to print off some of those action verbs for us.
Now, if these guys go to the shelter, is this where they would put?
Yes, if you have no work experience, but you do have experience working without pay, you can also put it here. Okay, perfect example. And a lot of my students would do that. Like, for instance, I have a lot of culinary arts students. They may not work outside of school, but they run a school restaurant. So I allow them to use the Jaguar room. That's our school restaurant because they are working. They're just not getting paid. And actually, what I have them do specifically is they put Jaguar room, Springfield, and then I just have them put internship here because they're working without pay. Okay?
Yes.
Guys, I know you're working, but I'm just going to go over a couple more things and let you have some more time to work. But I see some of you are moving ahead. So again, if you don't have any awards and you would like to focus just on extracurriculars, you can highlight this and put extracurricular if you would like, or keep it as awards. Again, awards are anything grades 9 through 12. Well, you're not at 12 yet. And that could be attendance. It could be, specific to, yes, honor roll is great. Attendance is great in this day and age. They want to know that someone's going to show up, okay? If you have subject area specific awards, maybe you have sports awards. Anyone getting letters for sports, that would be a big one too.
You only want one or the other awards or extra awards?
Yeah, I think so. I would put one or the other. So what I did on here, I pretended I was a student with awards, and then underneath my school, I put the extracurricular that I was involved in at my home school. I pretended I was in the National Honor Society, and I was a softball player from 2020 to 2022. Okay, but these are interchangeable. So if you like one in one spot than the other, that's fine. Okay, and then I think Miss Turner is going to be a big help with this one. So I would pick underneath veterinary science 3 to 5 skills that you're learning currently that might be important to this particular field. I know you do a lot with behavior, animal care. I don't know your field. So you want to pick some things that you're actively learning about in lab that you put under there. Okay?
Preventive health is going to be a big one.
So if you don't have activities for your homeschool, you can most certainly just delete that part and have the name of your homeschool, the city. You're all earning a diploma from there, okay? Or at least I hope. And then the years you attended are your freshman year through the end of your senior year is what you're going to list. Even though you're not physically there, you're still earning a diploma for 4 years of high school from there, okay? No, I did not. I just used it as an example. I'm from Northwest Ohio. Guys, keep in mind too, as you're going through your high school experience and you join a club or you receive an award, get on here and add it immediately because it's amazing how quickly you forget. I mean, you graduate from high school a month later, you're like, oh my gosh, what did I do with my life in the past 4 years? I have no idea. It like all just disappears. So constantly update that information. And guys, remember with your references, we are choosing people that can talk about you in light of work or character or work ethic. Okay. So people involved in the school, people you've been employed with, people you've job shadowed. Okay. And make sure you keep it all onto one page. If your references are starting to shoot down to the second page, then that's where you can put available upon request.